What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. I'm in a new place right now, and that is because a massive storm, an ice storm actually, has hit my city, and it's like buried half the city in ice, and it's insane right now. Like it's really crazy. So I'm gonna be filming from this spot right now. This is literally the shed in like my backyard, and it's not really a shed anymore. It's there's trees that are just falling. We had like freezing rain coming down, and it like weighs all the trees down, and then the branches are breaking off and like hitting power lines, and it's an absolute disaster right now. So I'm in a different spot. I'll probably go back to my regular spot soon. We just have to do this for now until my house has power again and all that jazz. So yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. Just bear with me. It'll be a little bit I'm missing my scarf, I'm missing a bunch of things, but here we go. We're gonna dive into it anyway. What I'm going to do today, we're going to talk about what I consider to be the best two builds for Marksman Hunter right now. They are both Dark Ranger builds. There's one that is more single target focused, okay, and that's this build right here. It includes Windrunner's Quiver, Eagle's Accuracy, you know, improved Streamline. And then the other one is going to get rid of all these, and it's going to swap out Headshot for Deadeye. And you're instead going to go down this way, and you can grab Bullseye. I mean, you can actually grab a couple of other things if you wanted to. You could pick up like no scope, but I think Bullseye is actually probably way better. And that's your AoE focused build. I ran both of these builds through a Mechagon plus 10. Okay. And I'm going to pit both of them against each other and show you the results. Now, I just want you to take it with a grain of salt, use your brain, and look at what's happening. And, you know, the teams are a little bit different. The compositions are a little bit different. The polls aren't exactly the same. They're pretty close to being the same, but they're not exactly the same. The timings of my cooldowns are pretty similar, but they're not exactly the same. So I tried to mimic it as best I could for each poll. But what I really want you to see is that both builds perform very well. One of them does outrageous amounts of AoE damage with a volley and the explosive shots, and it gives you so much extra damage from your black arrows in the form of bleak powder, because you get 2 charges of black arrow, and your opening burst in AoE is just disgusting. But your boss damage is quite low unless you play really well. But even then, you playing at your best capacity, your boss damage will be pretty low. The more single target focused build, your boss damage goes way up, of course, but your AoE takes a hit. So what I actually want you to take away from this video is to sit down and think to yourself, okay, what dungeon am I running, and what is the composition that I'm with? Do I have people that have really good single target damage or funnel damage of some kind, like a Shadow Priest, let's say, right? If I have that in my group, maybe I can afford to go do the AoE build and just completely blast on AoE and then sacrifice some boss damage, but the Shadow Priest will pick up the slack on the boss damage. If I don't have that, if I have a bunch of AoE pumpers in my group, like maybe a Boomkin or something, then maybe I could switch to the more single target focused, and I could help my team out that way. It's about doing whatever is best to make the key successful. That's what you kind of want to be doing. For Windrunner's Quiver, I want to explain this really quickly, and then I'll get into the footage. I don't think people quite understand what this thing does. So Windrunner's Quiver plus Headshot now lets your black arrow become your precise shots like button, right? So right now, if you fire an aim shot, your next arcane shot or multi-shot will deal more damage and cost less. Now you can apply that to black arrow, and what's really cool is you get 2 stacks right away because of Windrunner's Quiver. So if I cast aim shot, my next black arrow now will do extra damage. It ends up doing 45% more damage. So you can see here, it's going to do 841,000 shadow damage. If you look in the bottom right corner of your screen, once the buff wears off, it's now only going to do, oh, well, it's buffed right now. So just get rid of that for a second. You got a death blow proc. If it's unbuffed, it's only going to do, I got to get rid of this now. Hold on. This thing's crazy. I love how this procs. So if it's unbuffed, it only does 566,000. So what you're really doing with this build and with the Windrunner buff is you are putting more damage into Black Arrow, the initial hit of Black Arrow, and, well, all of Black Arrow, of course, which is really nice. And you're causing that Black Arrow to speed up your aim shot attacks. And your aim shots just go super, super fast. They're like almost instant every single time you press them. It's really crazy, okay? In single target, this is really good because your black arrows are doing more damage. In AoE, it helps a little bit because your Razor Fragments damage scales off of your Black Arrow damage, so that's going up as well. That's the idea with this build. You get really fast aim shots. You get black arrows that do a ton of damage. You're getting a lot of single target damage buffs there and a little bit of AoE, but you're sacrificing a huge chunk of AoE in the form of volley. And what you get instead with this other build is a ton of explosive shot damage from volley, some volley damage as well, which is good. It's usually like 4 to 5%. You get crazy explosive shot damage. You're getting explosive shot cooldown reduction for more explosive shot damage. Remember, explosive shot got buffed in this patch. And you're getting 2 charges of Black Arrow. This is really critical to your AoE opener because when you have True Shot active, you get the Withering Fire buff. And that means whenever you cast Black Arrow, you cast 2 additional Black Arrows. If you have 2 charges of Black Arrow from Deadeye, you literally can go volley. You have like True Shot, volley, Black Arrow, and you have 6 of them now that have gone out instead of 3. And then you start lobbing in the aimed shots, and those aimed shots will do extra phantom pain damage because you have multiple Black Arrows going around. It just, your AoE becomes absolutely crazy strong, okay? Because of the double Black Arrow, volley, explosive shot combination, okay? So it's one or the other. Again, I would urge you to look at your composition and say, what am I going to get out of this composition? What is this going to get me, right? Like, how should I build my team here? So on this first one, we actually end up popping Lust. We do not in the other video, but I'll show you in a second. This is the single target focused build, okay? So here's my AoE here. You watch how quickly my aim shots fire. Just zip, zip, they go really, really quick. You can barely even see them when I'm inside Lust. And I'm trying my best, of course, to maximize my Black Arrow damage as well. But you just don't get as much ability to play around with Black Arrow because you only get 1 charge. And that part really bugged me for sure. That's why I really appreciate the other build quite a bit. So there we finished that pack off. I was doing about almost 10 million. And then we do the next pack. And I'm back up to, I don't know what it is, like 3.7 million by the end. So let's look at the other video really quickly. This is the AoE focused build. Okay. I have triple explosive shots going off now because I have volley plus salvo. I'm missing all my volley damage. It doesn't matter. We're getting the trick shot effect, right? So I can go, my explosive shots are already going. I'm about to go double Black Arrow into like a rapid fire, I think. I'll go Black Arrow, Black Arrow. I do an aim shot here. Now I have to start multi-shotting. My damage is already going to start going higher. Watch my damage here. 13 million, 15 million almost. We got another tier set proc, so 18 million. Kind of got lucky in the tier set procs there, but those are, those are neither here nor there. 17 million. So like you can see the burst is bigger, right? Instead of like 11 million, it's like 17 million. And then it's going to start coming down, of course. We did pull the entire room, of course. Again, it's a little bit different. Take it with a grain of salt, right? It really depends on the dungeon, but I promise you that this build will get you way more AoE damage because of the double Black Arrow. And in my opinion, just personally, this build is way more fun to play. Way more fun to play. Because you have volley to play around with outside of your true shot cooldown. Look at the bleak powder damage. You have volley to play around with, and you have double Black Arrow to play around with, which is way more fun, in my opinion, than the other way around. We also didn't lust that first pack on my AoE thing. I would have done even more damage. We're lusting the boss now. And one thing that this AoE build does is, again, you get to volley. Volley adds 2 explosive shots. You add your own 3rd explosive shot. That's a lot of damage right there. And then you can double Black Arrow inside the volley. So I have triple explosive shot. I can Black Arrow each target. And now my aim shots are doing extra damage to both targets because of the Black Arrows that are on them with Phantom Pain. And it actually provides a substantial boost in damage on 2-target cleave like this, which you do not get at all with the other build because you don't run volley. I'm a pretty firm believer this season that volley is a really helpful tool because there are a lot of fights that are 2-target cleave. Like this fight here, think about Theater of Pain when you go to the PvP boss and it's the flag that he puts down plus him. You have to kill both of those. You have to kill the flag really quickly, but if you can also put damage onto the boss at the same time, that's really, really helpful as well. There's just a bunch of examples where the burst from volley is also really good. Like, again, in the last boss of Theater of Pain, Mordretha, where she spawns all those ads. When you have volley up right then, you drop volley, you get triple explosive shot with your natty explosive shot, right? And it just does outrageous AoE damage, and you burst the ads down in like 3 seconds, and then you go back to hitting Mordretha. That can be a valuable tool, those kinds of things, where you have huge burst moments because of volley. Again, I'm a pretty firm believer in it. So I'm doing about 2 million damage. It goes down here by the end of the boss fight. I'm at 1.64 kind of thing. And then if we look at the other one, which has now disappeared on me, of course, the other one here, we'll see the boss fight here. This is the single target build, no volley, but I do have true shot coming up here again. We're going to true shot, so we're doing 2.4 mil right now. This is, again, with no volley. But that eventually, you know, on the boss fights, and the higher you climb into keys, in my opinion, the more value volley gets, because you're going to get multiple volleys per 2-target cleave boss fight. Think of like the first boss of Priory as well. You have Captain Dalecry and then his captain, and they both share damage. So if you're volleying and hitting both of those targets, it's sharing both. It's like quadruple damage, right, kind of thing. So volley can have really good value there. But again, we don't have it with this version of the build. We're still doing pretty good. We're maintaining to him in 1.83, 1.84. Let's see if it goes down here a little bit by the end. 1.69, 1.72. So a little bit higher. The other one was 1.62. So we did a little bit more damage, even though we didn't have volley. That's because this precise shot thing is just so strong. Really, really strong. Again, honestly, you're going to see by the end of the video that I think both builds are completely viable. They're completely viable. I just think you're going to have to look at your composition and say, what do we need here? What are we lacking? Are we lacking lots of AoE damage? Are we lacking single target, right? What are we lacking? AoE, this is an AoE pack with the more single target focus build. We get a big burst for 10 million, which is really nice. On higher keys, of course, I understand this damage is going to go down because the packs are going to last longer. I get it, guys. I promise I understand that. We're ending at about 7.77 there. And if we go down here, you can see the next pack. I'll just do a quick comparison. We've got volley here into double black arrow into the aim shot, rapid fire. I think I put an aim shot into the end. Now we're multi-shotting now. We're about 11 million, 12 million, so a little bit higher. Not a crazy amount higher, though. But I think once we get these extra black arrows in here, black arrow, boom, it'll stay high, right? The other one was ending at about 7 something. What was this ending at? Oh, this is like, it'll go down to 692. What was the other one at? 759. There you go. Still a little bit higher on the single target one there. And then we're going to go to the next pack. Got, what are we doing here? About 4 million there. 430 let's do 4 million by the end. This one on the next pack, we're going to have volley again into double black arrow because you have it up for basically every pack, which is really crazy. I'll do a little rapid fire to buff my aim shots. And we're doing 6-7 million here. We'll get some more black arrows. There's a proc there. So 8 million. So I would say like your pack to pack damage for sure is higher on this volley build, in my opinion. If it isn't, if it wasn't, then this build is complete and utter trash, because you're getting that extra volley damage there. Let's go to the boss fight here. We'll just do the next boss fight, Cujo. We'll look at the overalls right now. The overall for my AoE damage, AoE build is 4.5 million. The overall, once we get to Cujo on the single target build, is 4.12 million. Okay, that's right there. So again, they're quite close. Here's the single target build on Cujo. One thing I will say, there's an add-on that I have, or a weaker, I forget what it is. I will try to link it down below. It puts this little symbol above your head that says protected or unprotected when the venting flames is going off, so you can know exactly where you want to stand. So in order to keep firing on the boss, so you stay protected. That's really, really important. There's another mechanic that you need to do here as a hunter, which is to be the furthest person away from the boss. And when he's doing the explosive leap, you need to feign death when he's in the middle of flying towards you. And if you're the furthest person away from him, then he will fly to you first, as long as you have a circle around you. And you can feign death it, and I messed it up right there. You can feign death it, and it will stop him from charging to everybody else. So again, here I'm not safe, now I'm protected. Venting flames, I'm going to do damage. Then I think I'm gonna nail this one. So I get far away, and then I feint when he's in midair, and boom, it stops the other people from getting charged. This dramatically reduces the amount of damage that your allies take on this fight. It's really, really good. So practice this, work on it, and I'll get the weak aura for you guys as well for the protected when you're near the box. When we get to the end of the single target fight, I'm at 1.4 mil on the Cujo. And then we'll go to the AoE Cujo. By the end of the boss on the AoE build, I am at 1.4 million, 1.42. We're going to get to probably 1.39 or something. 1.4, it's the same thing, right? It's the same. 1.42, this is 1.4. They're very, very similar. Okay, so very interesting, right? Like, if you think about it, you think, oh, the single target build should do way better. It just depends. I think it really depends on the volley. You got to make sure you're nailing those volleys, getting them right. You'll see by the end of the key what stuff is more important, though, right? Like what build is prioritizing what type of damage. It's very, very interesting to see that. The single target build tends to prioritize like aim shot damage and black powder damage, or it's not black powder, black arrow damage a little bit, but really, it really doesn't prioritize explosive shot damage, which the other build does. The AoE build focuses really hard on explosive shot damage. I'll just get to the next boss fight. This is good AoE here. I think this is the non-AoE build. So we're doing almost 6 million on the non-AoE build, 5.32 by the end. We'll go to the AoE build, see if I did any better. Sorry, I know the skipping is kind of crazy. Let me just go really quickly here. I got stuck by the they started this early. Never mind. This isn't even going to be a good comparison. I got stuck in the laser thing and they just started the pull without me. So we'll just go to the boss fight. Head Machinist Spark Flux. We do lust this both times, and I have True Shot and Trinket and stuff available both times, I believe. So that's good. I get my my kill shots. I can, again, double kill shot at the beginning. Every time you fire a kill shot inside your True Shot, you get multiple kill shots going off, even if it's only one target. So I fire off a kill shot into the boss here, and it's going to hit him 3 times. And again, having 2 charges of kill shot lets me keep doing that more often. Ding, 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 ding. You see all the extra damage going on? So, to me, again, it does get value in single target, having the Deadeye talent, which gives you 2 charges of kill shot, black arrow, sorry. There is still some value there. 2.87 mil is the opening burst on the AoE build. By the end of the AoE build, we're sitting at 1.75, so it goes down quite a bit. We'll take a look at the other one right now. This is the single target build. This should conceivably do more damage. We had somebody really stuck in the maze there. So we have like a 3 mil opening burst with the single target build. And then we're going to end up going down to, what is it? 1.79, 1.73. I'm not using True Shot again because I want to True Shot the next pack. 1.68. It's basically 1.7, right? So actually the AoE build was slightly ahead, but they're basically tied, right? They're basically tied. Okay, so single target build on the 2 target cleave. Conceivably, this should be less damage than when I have volley in the AoE. I'll show you that in a second. What we end up doing here is just tunneling down one of the spider tanks. I just ruin one of these spider tanks as best I possibly can and kill him way before the other one, both to alleviate the healing check required and to get the little space thing flying down. You can see it's arriving right there. We did it. We were doing 3 million and we ended at 2.34 million. And if we look at the AoE version of the build, conceivably we should have more value here because we've got our black arrows with the trick shot. We get the trick shot effect, right? So you get extra bleak powder damage, which is pretty cool. And we have double black arrow, which is really nice. 3.41 mil. Once you get into execute, having double black arrow, in my opinion, it just feels so good. Love the way that feels. 2.97, 2.69. So 2.69 there, and we did 2.34 in the single target version. So again, I think the volley advantage on that 2 target cleave out right there is speaking for itself. This is the single target build. Once again, we're doing about, I don't know, 3 million there. I'm going to skip to the very last boss, and we'll just show that, and then I'll get to the final numbers. And I want to keep you guys here all day. So on the final boss, I get True Shot back, and I use it as soon as I get it, because this first phase of this fight actually lasts for a long time. Like, the boss has a crazy amount of health for some reason. So I'm True Shotting to get some damage going. We're doing about 2 million overall, a little bit over 2 million on the single target build, okay? Sorry for the skipping. I understand. Look at the black arrow damage, pretty big there. And then on this phase 2, we do not have Bloodlust, but we do get True Shot back, right? See, like we True Shot at the beginning of this fight, and we're getting it back at the beginning of the second phase. So make sure you use True Shot at the beginning of this fight, because you'll get 2 uses out of it for sure. And then my aim shots are just flying, like they're so fast. Just ding, ding. I don't know how I didn't get hit by that Mega Zap, by the way. Okay, we get to the end of the fight, and what are we at by the end of the fight? We are at 1.60 million damage per second for the final boss, and then we'll do it. Let's do the final boss on the AoE build here. We're going to start out. We have True Shot coming up in about 10 seconds. That's the exact same as what happened on the single target build. So we're going to press True Shot here, and we're going to get a bunch of charges of our black arrow. The one thing about the AoE build is that your aim shots do not go nearly as quickly. Like you don't get super fast casting aim shots. That's just not, because you don't have 2 stacks of precise shots. You only get 1 in this build. So your aim shots go slower, which, is, it is what it is. We get some volley damage, but I should have waited on my volley for a second there, but it's fine. Okay, we're doing 1.43 million, so our opening burst is a lot lower. I have a feeling the damage on this final boss will be much lower. Okay. Like I turtle this first Mega Zap to stop the damage completely, and then you just get out of turtle and keep going. Then we're going to get our True Shot back here in a second. I think that potentially on the AoE build, the True Shot cooldown reduction is a little bit less than on the single target build. I'd have to check that, but I don't know for sure yet in this video. But anyway, we're into phase 2. We're doing 1.3 million. That's definitely much less than we were doing in the single target build. And boom, we ended at 1.31 million. We ended at 1.6 million on the single target build. So here's a single target build. Let's look at the actual numbers. We end at 2.73 million DPS overall, and this is what it ends up looking like. Aim shot is way out front, and then you have black arrow, bleak powder. Explosive shot is much lower because, again, we're not taking volley plus salvo, which gives you all the extra explosive shots. We're not doing that, right? So aim shot is really more of the focus of this build, and black arrow. Those are the 2 big focuses of this build. In the AoE build, bleak powder and explosive shot end up becoming the focus of the build, which is more AoE focused, right? Of course. So this is what your damage ends up looking like, and we did 2.73 million overall. In the AoE focused build, we did 2.81 million overall, so slightly more on the overall, and the damage breakdown again is completely different. You have explosive shot, bleak powder, then aim shot and black arrow, and then everything else. But these 2 rise to the top because you have the salvo, right? You have volley putting the explosive shots down with salvo, and you have 2 charges of black arrow, which means you can snipe low health targets and high health targets to get the extra bleak powder damage, the big explosion of AoE. And your opening AoE burst, in my opinion, is some of the best in the game. You take it into keys like the beginning of Mechagon here, if you pull the entire room. The opening of even Priory has a pretty big AoE opener. The opener of Brewery, Cinderbrew Meadery, sorry. Cinderbrew Meadery has a massive AoE pull at the very beginning. So this kind of build, I think, would be very suitable for those kinds of dungeons. The other build is probably much more suitable for your more single target focused dungeons like Theater of Pain, as I said before, which is a lot of like those mini bosses that slow you down. If you don't have good single target damage on the mini bosses, it's terrible. So here's the TLDR. The overall damage is quite similar. The way it breaks down is quite different, and the play style is also quite different. So it's really up to you. It's really up to you. Do you want to be casting more black arrows? And if you want to cast volley to get the extra explosive shot damage, is that a playstyle you love? Then you go for the AoE one and pump on AoE, as long as your team isn't made up of other classes that are also completely AoE focused, because then you're going to hate yourselves on boss fights, right? Or would you rather go for the precise shots, more single target oriented? You're really going to pump better on single target, but you lose some of that AoE. Really, it's up to you guys and what you want to prioritize and how you like to play the game, because I'm telling you, both builds work pretty well. It's just that one build does massive AoE damage, one does more single target damage and a little bit less AoE damage. And whatever you need in your composition is what you should look to do for each of your keys. So I will link both builds down below. You can pick up either build that you want to try, and I would let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I really think that both of these builds are functional, that they both work incredibly well, and you should try both of them in your keys and see what you think. All right, thank you so much again for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.